friends, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So just to get this out of the way, you can probably hear it in my voice, but I am currently getting over being sick. I thankfully feel a lot better than I did a couple of days ago. I'm still not all the way back to normal, but I really want to sit down and do a little voiceover and create some videos and just build and play The Sims. You know, I love that and it brings me comfort and joy. So here we are. I'm just gonna try and make it through this voiceover. I think I should be fine, but you know, you could probably hear it in my voice and I hope it's not too distracting. But I'm really excited to share this build with you all. I actually started this build, I think at this point it was over a month ago. It was before I had early access to the Enchanted by Nature pack, and I had started on this build over on stream, and then I never got around to actually finishing it. So I actually finished it when I was sick. I think it was 2 days ago at this point. And I finally got around to finishing it, and now I'm here sharing it with you, and I'm really excited about it because it is a really fun one. I just really like how this one came together. It is going to be a winery attached to a small family home, so you could run this as a small business from home. You could treat it as like a family business that has been in the family for generations on end. That's kind of what I was thinking of anyway. And it's only a really small like little winery with a house attached to it, and gameplay wise I feel like this would be really fun to play with. So it is in Tartosa in the world of the Wedding Stories pack. I always struggle to remember the name of that pack. In my brain on stream, I always call it My First Wedding pack because I don't know why, that's just what it's called in my brain. So every time I think of this pack, I struggle to actually remember the actual title, and I like to call it My First Wedding stuff pack. You know, it's not even a stuff pack, it's a game pack, I think, so that just makes no sense whatsoever. But yeah, it is in the world of the wedding pack, and yeah, it's very Mediterranean looking, and on the inside it's actually very yeehaw. I used a lot of horse ranch items, which does make sense because it is a winery and all the nectar making things did come with the horse ranch expansion pack. So that's probably why I like combined those two vibes together. And this is what came out of it, and I think it turned out really fun. So I was working off of, or not working off of a reference picture, but I did find a picture on Pinterest that really inspired me to build this particular home. It was just a really pretty house of, or a really pretty picture of a build where it was I think it was just two houses attached to one another, and one of them was slightly taller than the other one. And obviously in real life you have a little bit more freedom when it comes to, you know, stuff like tall walls and like things connecting to each other. I think they were both two-story houses, but one was just a little bit taller than the other. And obviously that's not something we can do in The Sims here, so I decided to go for one two-story build. That's going to be the family home, and then the little winery is you know, it looks like a one-story little build, but it does actually have a basement, so I guess it's still 2 stories in that way. So in the basement is where we'll have the nectar making little skill building item. I forget what it's called exactly, but those are in the basement. So for the winery, I was thinking of a place where it's essentially a bar, and then it also has like a nectar making area in the basement, so you could come here for workshops and wine tastings and that sort of thing is what I was thinking. I think when you have the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack, you could definitely set those as like little activities for the business. Obviously you can set like have drinks at the bar, because we do have just like a bar area in there as well. So they can have drinks at the bar, and then I think the nectar making should be an activity that you can use as a business activity too. So I feel like that would be really fun to run it that way. Unfortunately, I did not have space for a dance floor in there. Otherwise, it would have been really fun to just like have a dance floor and have people like dance, and maybe hire a pianist or something and like have people do the like cow poke dance, I think is what it's called, on the dance floor. I feel like that would be really fun. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't have space for that, but you can still pretend. People can still dance though, because I do have like music in there. There's speakers, so you could definitely play some music and people could still dance. That could definitely be a fun little activity as well. And then for the exterior of this build, I really wanted it to look like it's been in the family for generations on end. I definitely wanted this to look like an older house. So I was going for some more like wear and tear on the exterior. As you can see, we're using a lot of wisteria and vines. I was having so much fun with making this very overgrown. And this wallpaper that I'm using, I feel like is so pretty. I completely forgot about the existence of that particular wallpaper. It is from the, I think it's from the Riviera Retreat kit, if I'm saying that correctly. And it's so pretty because I wanted there to be like some details on the exterior of the house. And at first I was playing around with different types of stucco. I wanted it to be like orange or yellow or something in between. And I was playing around with different types of wallpapers, but they were so smooth looking. And while it was pretty, it was just not giving me the type of like personality that I wanted for this building. So I decided to go for this one. That's when I came across it and I was like, oh wait, that's perfect. I don't have to look any further. This is what we're going to be using here. So yeah, I feel like that wallpaper worked out really nicely. I also used it on the inside for certain parts too. So that just gives it a lot of personality, I feel. And then in the back, I did create a little grape I guess garden. It is obviously all decorative because those are like debug little fences and like grape bushes, if you could call them that, like grape trees. I don't really know what the proper terminology is for that. But they have a couple of those in the back. I do feel like this house would definitely own a lot more like fields with grapes, just not right here, not attached to the house, but like somewhere else down the mountain or something like that. They would have like a really big field that's all of their like land and all their grapes and all those things. But to kind of like dress up the house here and just to have a cozy little garden in the back for this house, they also have some grapes here in the back. And then for the landscaping, obviously I had to go for some lavender bushes. That was definitely adding a lot of color into the build as well, and just a lot of personality as well. And I used a bunch of like barrels. I'm always obsessed with using barrels for landscaping when it comes to builds like this. I just really like them. And we do have a lot of different types of barrels in the game these days, be it from debug or just if they came with like various packs. We have a bunch of them in the game these days, so that is just a lot of fun for me to use. And I also, funnily enough, use a lot of debug landscaping from high school years. That really works for this vibe. Just the grass and the flowers and whatnot, and also a bunch of horse ranch that also worked out really, really well here too. So yeah, that's it for the house, or like the build in general. And then for the storyline, we do have a 3-bedroom family home. I know the house is only really small, but because the shape is so simple and straightforward, it was pretty easy to like divide the space nicely and have space for 3 bedrooms total. So I was thinking of 2 parents living here and running the business, and then they have a teenage daughter. She's a horse girl, and then they also have a kid. I was thinking of a daughter too, so 2 daughters, but obviously that doesn't matter. It could literally be anyone. But yeah, 2 daughters, 1 teenager, 1 kid, and the teenager, she is definitely a horse girl. I was feeling very inspired by the storyline, or like by the horse ranch pack for the storyline for this house. I came across a bed with that like really beautiful like horse bedding on it, and that was setting off the storyline or the inspiration for the teenager. So I was thinking that she's a horse girl. Obviously here on the lot we don't really have space for a horse or any farming in that regard, but I was thinking that she probably either looks after a horse or owns a horse that's living somewhere at a farm here in Tartosa or maybe in Chestnut Ridge. I'm not exactly sure. But she loves horse riding, and it is her dream to do that professionally too. Like she wants to compete professionally and just do horse riding professionally, maybe like run a ranch with other animals too, and a lot of gardening, and just make money that way. Like that is her dream to at some point have a ranch of her own, be it here in Tartosa or in Chestnut Ridge. I think it would be her dream to move to Chestnut actually. So yeah, that's kind of fun and hard on the parents because this winery has been in the family for generations, and I feel like traditionally, like when you look at the like history of this family, I feel like it's been passed down to the oldest sibling for many, many generations up until now, because the teenager, she's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to run this winery. That is not for me. That is not my dream. I'm going to break the cycle. And that's probably very hard on her parents. Obviously, her parents want what's best for their daughter and they want her to be happy, and they obviously support her in what she wants. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of hard on them because they did have this in mind for their family, you know, when the kids were were little, they were like, oh yeah, and then the oldest is gonna take over the family business. But obviously, you know, that's not a given. She doesn't want that. So that's not gonna happen for her. And they do have obviously a younger child as well. So now they're kind of hoping that maybe the younger child, when they get older and when they decide what it is that they want to do, maybe they'll decide that they do actually want to take over the family business and, you know, run it and keep it going. But honestly, time will tell. So I feel like that's kind of a fun storyline to play with to see what happens. And I do think the teenager at this point in time does have like a job in the winery. Like she probably works there after school. So maybe she does some like cleanups and all those types of things. And she makes a little bit of money in the winery, but she's like, yeah, that's a fun little part-time job after school, but it's not going to be forever. Like I'm going to move to Chestnut Ridge and I'm going to go to learn how to be competitive or like professional horse rider and like how to like learn how to run a ranch and all those types of things. And yeah, that's her dream. That's what she's gonna do. And again, I feel like gameplay wise, that would just be a lot of fun. So here we're actually starting on decorating the family home, and I was having so much fun with this, like making it cluttered. It is a very cramped little house. So I just really wanted it to look cluttered. We do have 4 Sims in the house, so I feel like that's a lot of Sims for essentially a pretty small space. Fortunately, I did have the space for 2 bathrooms. We have 1 half bath downstairs and then a hall bath upstairs. So thankfully there is that. There's no issues probably with that, maybe. I mean, still we only have 1 shower in the house because downstairs we only have a half bath, of course. So maybe that could still be a struggle from time to time, especially when you do a lot of nectar making. It does make Sims, you know, dirty, and they definitely need to take a shower after that. So I don't know, that could be kind of challenging in that sense as well. But for the rest, you could probably tell already, I'm going to be using a lot of Horse Ranch furniture pieces in here because it's just such a nice, cohesive look and feel, and it definitely just blends in with this house so perfectly. And I just really like how the floor plan for this, like the layout, came together as well. Yeah, then something completely different that I also wanted to mention as we're just watching this house, you know, furniture-wise come together. I do now have my YouTube memberships activated. I have them activated, like they've always been active, but I just haven't really been using them. But it's very exciting, and it's also kind of scary that I'm sharing this with you here now on YouTube. I am in the process of transitioning into becoming a full-time content creator. And so I'm like trying to look for ways how to like professionalize everything and experiment with different things. And it's also going to mean that I'll have more time during the week, obviously, because I won't have my job anymore, to upload videos and create videos. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm definitely hoping that when it all happens, I will have time to do also some more like gameplay videos and all those things. But yeah, YouTube memberships are also part of that. So I now have my memberships activated. If you want to, you can become a member of the channel, and for members I do upload some additional content in the form of little behind the scenes videos, and also some updates, of course, some pictures behind the scenes, just life updates. It's essentially a space where I can be a little bit more personal with everyone and just connect with all of you, I guess, on a more personal level in that sense. And also just a fun little space for me to upload some extra content. I do want to say that it's not content that I otherwise would have uploaded here, but I'm choosing to upload just for members. It is purely extra content, like extra footage of stuff that I normally would have done on my own and that I normally would have filmed. And maybe, you know, just some little sit down chit chat life updates that don't even have anything to do with Sims in that regard. So that sort of thing is what I'll be uploading there. So if you're interested in that, you can always head over to my channel and click the little join button. I do think it's not for everyone, like visible for everyone when you're using the YouTube app on iOS. I don't think it's visible for everyone. They're slowly rolling that out. It's visible on the website though, like when you're on your laptop or PC, it's visible on the website, the little join button, and it's also visible in the Android app. So yeah, with that out of the way, I just wanted to like quickly mention that. So yeah, feel free to check it out, and you could always become a member if you want to, and if not, then that's completely fine as well. I do appreciate everyone's support, be it if you're a member or if you're just commenting, watching the videos, you know, like all of it. Honestly, it means the world to me. And I'm very excited to finally be like trying to do this full time. Like it's obviously a scary process, I'm not gonna lie. But it's been something I've been wanting to do for so long, and I did finally realize that I'm literally the only person that can take that risk on myself and that can make it happen for myself, or at least try to make it happen for myself. So I decided that that's what I want to do because I've been wanting to do that for years. So yeah, I guess that's just the little life update on that as well. But here you can see we are decorating the bedrooms. The first one was for the parents. Now these bedrooms, we do have 3 bedrooms in the house, but they're not going to be big. Like I never promised you big bedrooms. This house is very small. So the fact that we were able to actually fit 3 bedrooms in here is pretty amazing. They're not going to be big. They're really small, which I guess really adds to the charm of the house and like the build in general. I feel like it just makes a lot of sense. So the one we're currently furnishing is for the teenager. And as you can see, she is a horse girl. You can tell from her bedding. I absolutely would have loved that bedding as a kid. I was a horse girl when I was younger, and I would have literally, you know, done anything to have that bedding. It is so pretty and just so fun, and the colors are great. And then I also wanted her to have a little space where she could do homework and whatnot, so I gave her a small 1-tile desk. This desk that I'm using is from Businesses and Hobbies, and I really like it. I feel like we need a lot more 1-tile desks in this game. I just feel like we only have a couple, and I do tend to use them quite often. So I feel like we could use a couple more 1-tile desks. I'm really happy with this more recent one from Businesses and Hobbies though, but I feel like we could use some more still. And then the way I placed the wardrobe in the teen's bedroom makes it so that the routing was a little problematic. So I did have to actually move that around a little bit, like shuffle things around, which I did do that. I like fully playtested this build before I put it on the gallery. So the gallery version, when you download it, is again fully playtested and everything should be functional. And then here for the kids' bedroom, this one's just very colorful. I used a lot of pink and blue, and then I had to use that toy box from Enchanted by Nature. I don't think I'll ever use another toy box ever again, aside from this one. It is literally the cutest thing ever. And while I also really like the one from Growing Together, actually, because that one's like very vintage and like looks very generational gameplay approved. That one's cute too, but like this one hits on just on a different level. It is so adorable, and I'll use it from now on all the time. I can tell you that for a fact. And then here we also have a hall bathroom, which is just very simple. It is my everyday bathroom layout with a shower tub combo, a sink, and a toilet. And then after that one, we're moving on to the little winery. Now, I will say, because I finished this build probably when I was sick and like my brain wasn't all the way completely, you know, working as it should, I did forget to include a bathroom for the winery, which is completely my bad. It is already up on the gallery. There's no bathroom for the winery. It is as simple as that. Thankfully, we do have a basement here, and it is very easy to just extend the basement a little bit and like add a little bathroom to the basement with a door like in there. It's very easy to do that. It's very easy to fix. I sincerely apologize for not including a bathroom in the winery, because if you're running this as a small business and you're setting the home as a residential area, you know, your Sims, like the clients, the customers won't be able to use the bathroom in your house either. And you don't really want them to use the bathroom in your house either, you know, like you just don't really want that. So here we are in the basement, and this is the area where the actual nectar making takes place. And I like to pretend like some nectar making workshops and whatnot. So we have 3 of those, and then just a bunch of decorations in here, just a bunch of barrels and like nectar storage and all those things. If you just shuffle this around a little bit, or maybe get rid of a couple of decorations, you can very easily place a door and then just build a little bathroom as an extension here for the basement. That is literally the easiest fix, but again, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot to include one. But yeah, here we have just like the little nectar making space. I feel like that turned out really nicely. And then attached to the house on the outside, we have this, I guess you could call it like a little porch. It feels like an outdoor space with all the like archways and things, and I turned that into a skill building area with a woodworking bench and also an easel. I felt like it would be nice to have some skill building items here attached to the house as well. And I feel like the teenager would maybe lean a little bit artistic too. I feel like for another hobby, she would really like painting. I don't know, I could really see that for her. And then there's also a small back porch here with some seating and a grill. And then that's it for this build. So let's jump into the game and I'll show you the house in real time. So here we have the winery and family home in the game. This lot is actually one of my favorites, if not my favorite here in Tartosa. It is so dreamy and it has this pathway kind of thing down here to a beach as well. I mean, I guess if your customers really need to pee and there's no bathroom in the winery, like I said, then they could always come down here and just use that one, you know? But yeah, you can actually do some swimming and stuff down here by the waterfalls. So it is so insanely dreamy. And this lot, she's just stunning. I love it. So here we have the house. It's very simple shape-wise, but I do feel like that really adds to the charm of it all. So I guess over here is a little area for the winery. There is a nice 8-seater dining table out here where like you can come together as a group and do like wine tastings and stuff is what I had in mind. There are a couple of picnic benches out here as well. And then this is the entrance into the winery. I might as well just show you that first. So there's a front door here leading you into the bar area. So obviously it's all horse ranch items in here to like really make it come together nicely. There is a little bit of seating in here and just some decorations. A door out to that porch, and then a staircase into the basement. And this is where we have the nectar making activity going on. So we have 3 of these in a row and then just a bunch of decorations. And like I said already, you can very easily just get rid of some decorations, maybe this one, add a door, and then build a little bathroom back here, and then that should not be an issue. For the rest in the back here, we have a little back porch attached to the house, of course. There is a grill out here and some seating, and we have a little grape garden area here as well. On the side here is a small skill building area, so you could do some woodworking here, some painting, and I also have some covered planters for some gardening. And then of course over here is the front door into the house. So the house is very small and it's an open floor plan because of that. My playtester sim is just watching some good old comedy over here. But when you first walk in, we just have this like entryway area with some storage and clutter, and then over here is the kitchen. Also very nice and cluttered. I obviously had to use a bunch of the kitchen clutter stuff because it just has my whole heart. And I left this one free of clutter, the corner counter, for some cooking, so that should all be functional. And then of course a 4-seater dining table. And then over here is the living room. It feels surprisingly like pretty roomy still. There's definitely a lot of space here for routing and whatnot, so that should not really give you any issues even if you have 4 sims here. Over here is a half bath, so just a sink and a toilet and some decorations. And then upstairs is where we have all the bedrooms. So this first one here is the kids room. It's very nice and pink and blue and a little bit of purple in there as well. It's just your classic kids room with some toys. In between the bedrooms here is a bathroom. Again, just very simple shower tub combo, sink and toilet, and then the parents' room here at the end. I love the color scheme in this one. This wallpaper is absolutely gorgeous, combined with these wood tones and the colors on the bed, and also that blue mirror I just feel like ties in so well. So yeah, it's really cramped, but definitely cozy. And then this bedroom here in the corner is the teens' room. As you can see, I had to shuffle around this wardrobe a little bit, but the way I placed it now, there shouldn't be any issues with routing. She has a desk. I was thinking that these were the prizes that she's won so far with like competitive like horse riding and whatnot, and it's just your classic cluttered teens room. But that is it for this build. So this family home and winery is up on the gallery as a residential, and then you can start a small business from home if you want to. It comes in at just over 64,000 simoleons, so I feel like that's not even that bad. I thought it was going to be way more expensive than that, and it's not actually that terrible, so that was a win. And it has 3 bedrooms and 2, actually like 1.5 bathrooms, but I just set 2. And I built it on a 30 by 20 in the world of Tartosa, so if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's gonna do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so, and if you'd like to get notified every time I upload, just click that bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!